You're in trouble and you're on your own. Nobody knows where you are and nobody knows anything's wrong. Who do you think could track you down as time ticks perilously away? Is it your friends and family? Or is it the people who you spend more time with than anyone else? Your workmates.
Dave Milner and his wife Barbara have been married for 35 years. David worked for the same electrical maintenance company for the past 7 years and had formed a close-knit group of work friends.
He likes his workmates. He does help out with them. You know, they help each other.
Your jacket.
As is often the case for electrical maintenance engineers, Dave was due to be working on his own that day in remote locations, only contactable by mobile phone.
Oh, OK.
He went to work quite happily, nothing wrong, cheerful.
Just an ordinary Friday. Met Dave Friday morning. Had a cup of tea, had a chat about work. Then he went to his jobs and I went to my jobs.
I tried to ring him and I was just getting the answer voice. And I thought, well, he must be driving.
Oh, it's me again. Where are you?
And then I tried again and I thought, oh, well, he still must be in a building where he can't hear his phone. And then just kept ringing sort of every hour after that.
Yeah, it's me again. Where are you? For heaven's sake, give us a call, OK? Bye.
I thought, well, if he's working late, he always rings me. I knew David, you see, I knew. He's so predictable. So I knew it was serious when he didn't turn up. Then it got to 9 o'clock, and I'm just getting more and more worried, really worried. You know, I had nobody at all to get in touch with. I didn't know anybody.
In an effort to find someone who might know where Dave was, Barbara went to his computer.
I did find a list of numbers which he'd downloaded off his mobile phone, and it was there that I recognised one of the names, which was Dave Platt.
Barbara called Dave, who told her not to worry and that he'd see what he could do. He then called his supervisor, Carl Howcroft.
Hello? Carl, it's Dave Platt.
It's all right, mate. What's up?
It's Dave.
I asked him what was the problem, and he said, I've had a phone call from Dave's wife, Barbara. He's not been home, he's not contacted her. And I knew straight away, something not right, yeah.
Carl had had a drink that night, so he called another workmate, Andy Makin, and asked him to drive over and pick him up so they could go and look for Dave.
Dave Milner's not come home. His wife's dead worried, thinks he might have gone missing.
So I got up, jumped up, got ready, come out the house, jumped in the van and set off down to Carl's house.
In the process of Andrew coming down, I went on the work system, checked which jobs he hadn't closed down, and there was still 2 jobs showing on the system.
I went down, picked Carl up, jumped in the van with us, and we set off to the first building, the nearest building to us where they could have been at, which was, it was Eccles Telephone Exchange.
It's hidden by trees, you can't actually see it off the road, it's just a little narrow entrance.
What, here? Yeah, straight ahead.
If you don't know it's there, you would never find it. And it's lucky enough that myself and Carl had been to that building quite a few times.
We pulled up at Eccles Exchange.
Carl and Andy know that in their line of work, electrocution is always a risk, so they need to find Dave as quickly as possible.
There was no lights on the building, which automatically said to me, there's no power in the building, so probably looking at the case if he has been electrocuted and the breakers have popped.
David! Andrew! Andrew, I think that's his van! Come on! Dave! Carl, what you do?
He looked, when we got to him, as though he was asleep in his van. I mean, he was sat there with the radio on, the window was down, he had the newspaper in his left hand, pen in the right hand, and he could see he'd been doing the crossword. But his head was back. It was as though he was looking up to the sky trying to think of an answer.
He just, like, frozen in time, just wasn't responding.
He was cold to touch. All the signs were, to me, that he'd gone. He just wasn't there at all. I was trying to find out if he was actually breathing or not, and I lit the back of my hand to make the back of the hand wet and put it up near his mouth to see if I could actually feel the breath coming on the back of my hand or not. At which point I could. When I did that, he suddenly took a breath. Oh, Jesus Christ, I turned to Carl, I said, he's alive.
Dave!
I rang 999 straight away.
Paramedics giving the instructions through to Carl. I'm following them instructions.
Andrew, make sure the airwaves are clear, yeah? Mate. Right,
They asked us to get him out of the van.
Yeah, you can move him. Lay him
So
down.
I've got some coats out of my van, some blankets that I had in, threw them on the floor.
Take him out.
So I was saying to Carl, do we put him in a recovery position? Ask him, do we put him in a recovery position? And Carl said to me, what's a recovery position?
Yeah. All right, how long are you going to be?
Carl was worried the ambulance wouldn't be able to find them, so he ran to the entrance to flag them down when they arrived. Andy was left to look after Dave on his own.
I was at the point of thinking, well, everything's now on me. What was going through my head then was, hang on a minute, this guy's been here for so long. He's not been breathing correctly for so long. The lack of oxygen going through his body can cause all sorts. I mean, you're thinking brain damage straight away. I thought, oh, Christ, what are we up against here?
Thankfully for Andy, it was only a few minutes later that the ambulance did arrive and the paramedics took over.
David Milner.
He was breathing, but he was only breathing at probably 1 or 2 breaths in a minute, which is completely inefficient. He had a pulse of about 50, and I couldn't really measure his blood pressure. I couldn't measure his blood pressure at his wrist. I couldn't measure it at his neck, which indicates a blood pressure of about 60, which is, it's not really consistent with supporting life, as it were.
It's been a bag. Will he be all right? It's bagging. What's wrong with him? Is it serious? Could be a heart attack.
I actually said to the paramedic at the time, I said, he's not going to pull through this, is he? He said he's had it. And the paramedic just looked at me and went, well, it is serious. And I looked at him, he just shook his head. So I thought, no, he's had it, it's gone.
I got a phone call at 12 o'clock. And he said, Barbara, he said, get to Hope Hospital as soon as you can. We've found him.
They just moved us straight out the waiting room, took us straight down the corridor and straight into this, like, family room. Even that, you know, instead of waiting in the waiting room like everybody else, they put you in a separate room. You knew it was serious then.
And I said, I just saw them standing there, Carl, Andy. And I saw Carl. He was upset, and Andy.
And it was only when she walked into the room that I collapsed, basically. I just, the whole emotions of everything just came down on top of me.
It's so horrible. You think, how am I going to cope without him? What's going to happen?
They call it a stem stroke, and I'm still not 100% sure. It's either a bleed or a clot at the back of the brain. It showed up on a scan, MRI scan. Probably for about a week. I was a bit not really fully aware of what was going on. After that, I did gradually become, 16 days in the hospital, I did become more aware, obviously.
I mean, they said another half an hour he wouldn't have been there. That's what they told us when he got back to hospital. So, I mean, it makes you think if we'd have picked the wrong building first, if one of myself, Dave or Andrew didn't answer the phone, just that half an hour, that's all it would have took.
You know, I'm still alive, and that's thanks to everybody that was involved that night. You know, and there were quite a few people involved.
When I did see him at a team meeting, he came over and shook my hand and he's saying, thank you, like, you know, thank you for saving my life. I was like, give over, you know, no, it's all right, don't worry about it.
But thank God, they were there. They're that sort of people, you know, that they cared enough to go and look for him.
There's no question that we're a nation